actually here, not having to burn the miles, right? And so I stayed in corporate America another 2 years, and then I had this pull that I couldn't take anymore. And I was like, I got to save my money because I have to step out. I can't do this anymore.
Yes.
Corporate America is fun. It's beautiful for what it is. But when you're an artist and you have things about yourself that you have to stifle in order to go to work, it almost makes you feel like you're draining yourself and you're miserable.
Yes.
And I was miserable. Like, it's just, I was making great money. My parents were so proud. My baby's doing this. My baby. And I was like, I don't care how much money you give me. I want to be done. And so I started saving my money. And when I say step out on faith, a lot of people say that phrase, but they don't do it. They don't understand. When you step out on faith, you really step out on faith. Yes. You have the faith of the mustard seed. I think I had my mustard seed cut in 4.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, my goodness, and we pass it along. Tune in and listen to us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we give you our story with the Lively Art of Conversation. Hello, this again, your boy Rodney Duckett, your community facilitator, a.k.a. the Radical Rowdy Rodney or the Raldo Radical. I don't know. They give me so many names that's out there, but you're watching the Lively Art of Conversation. And this is a show where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. This is a phenomenal show because I'm going to tell you why. We deal with our story. That's right, our story. How we live, how we learn, how we earn. Most importantly, how will we pass this along to the next generation? Again, this was the brainchild of Positive Talk Radio. There's so much that's going out in our community today. There's not enough positive vibes that's out there. So I'm all about the positive vibes to create my own tribe so that way we can go out and touch the world. That's it. So for you guys that don't know, I'm a transplant to this area by way of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, like I told you guys last week. But also, most importantly about that is I spent approximately 12 years in the United States Army. I got out and I actually made this area my actual hometown where I raised all my kids and my children in Central Texas. I am by trade a healthcare provider. That is my job. That's what they pay me to do. But my work is something a little bit different. My work is what I was born to do. And my work is that of a community facilitator. I started a nonprofit organization with a group of people known as Impact Outreach, which stands for Intelligent Minds Proven and Applying Commitment. Over the course of the last 2 decades, we have been steadfast in the community working with those individuals. That's right, the individual, those kids. Most importantly, those kids that are in the juvenile justice system, the alternative school system, the transitional system, and then also the trade system as well, too. We also work with the families when we get out. We take the kid, put them back with the families, and we begin to work with them so we can create that homeostasis within the household. And then next, we take the kid, the family, we move them back out to society. So we are society at large, where society and the family, we all become blended. But we start with the child because the child is a ripple effect. When we toss it into the pond, it touches the shores of society. So again, I'm back here with you guys. And like I said, the Lively Art of Conversation was started by my good, dear, lovely friend, Reverend Roscoe Harrison in this area. He used to have the Focus Show along with Mr. Horace Grace. And the first thing that he would come on the show and say, "Hi, my name is Reverend Roscoe Harrison, and you're watching the Focus Show, where we practice the lively art of conversation." And I will always honor him with those words because he said that I could have that if I ever created my own platform. So I'm here today. So you're probably saying, once again, he's here today. If you haven't heard, if you found this on social media and you said, I'm going to tune into it, I'm here. I'm here based off of you. You told me, you asked me, you said, hey, when you going to get your own platform? Hey, when you going to write your own book? Hey, when you going to do your own podcast? Well, guess what? I'm doing it right now today because of you. I'm a conversationalist. Like I said before, if you ever see me in the grocery store and you got a pack of bologna in your hand and some milk, by the time it's over with, you're going to have some hot milk and some fried bologna. So you got to go straight back to that cooler. But we have a wonderful show for you here. Absolute wonderful show. And I want to start off by acknowledging my underwriters. This show would not be possible if it wasn't for my underwriters. And I say this out of the pureness of my heart. I really do. Out of the pureness of my heart. Every time I pick up the phone and I speak to my underwriters, every time I do, you know what they tell me? they say, hey, Rod, it is okay. It is okay for us to do this once again. I will be glad to support you. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I bring to you your underwriters. Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. This is the place where you live, you learn, you earn, and you pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you the Lively Art of Conversation. This is a place where your life lessons becomes the experience and the wisdom for others to reach out and grab. If it's not for your test, if it's not for your mess, if it's not for your tragedies, and if it's not for your end, we'll never have the beginning for the next generation. We will never have the triumph the next generation can reach out and point the finger at. We'll never be able to understand the test that turned to the testimony. And my goodness, everybody's mess becomes a great dialogue for a message. So if you have a message and you would like to be a part of the Lively Art of Conversation, do not hesitate with just dropping me a email. That's right, with the Lively Art of Conversation at gmail.com. Because if you have an ad, if you have a book, if you have an event, or if you have something that you have to get off your chest in a constructive way to help others build, then grow, well, this is the platform for you. So feel free to reach out to me. That's right, your community facilitator, your cultural enthusiast, Rodney Duckett. That's Dr. Rodney Duckett. So hope to hear you soon on the Lively Art of Conversation. Tune in. This is a story worth listening to.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach @gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. All right, we're back. And once again, I'd like to thank our underwriters for really reaching out to me each and every time I need something. My underwriters always come through. If it's a community event, if it's kids that's traveling outside of this actual state, or whatever it is. I mean, they have been great help, especially with my scholarship fund. My scholarships are not very big scholarships whatsoever, but what we do with our scholarships is at least try to pay for the kids' books and different things like that, because it's really important that we help them out. This year we've got several kids that's going off to college. I got 4 seniors, man. They're breaking my pocket. So if you want to sponsor one of those seniors, please hit me up at Lively Art of Conversation. And you know these seniors, trust me, because if you ever been to one of my events, you have seen these seniors on stage. One of the things that I've been doing over the course of the last 3 years is turning over some of these speaking events to some of these young men. So you see a lot of them at Black History events, or you might see them chaperoning me at different events, just getting that airtime. So if you want to support, love to have you guys reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. So I want to start off about this. Every week I have a quote. And this is what people like most about me, the quotes. When you see me somewhere, first thing you say, man, I love that quote, or you'll show me a quote. So I said I'm going to embed this into this show. And the word of the week, that's right, the word of the week is work ethic. Work ethic. And I'm going to give you a short quote. It says, the extra mile. So listen to me. The work ethic isn't just about showing up. It's about the unseen miles that you're willing to walk beyond what's expected. So let me explain this to you. It's true dedication. It's just not doing the bare minimum. It's about the extra effort and the commitment that you put into it, even when no one else is watching. It's that willingness to go above and beyond. So the question for you guys, the thought-provoking question of the week, and I really want you to pull out your journals and write this thing down. What's the one extra mile that you can commit to walking in your work or in your personal life this week? What's that one extra mile that you can commit to and walk towards your work or your personal life to make it happen? Think about it. Work, if it's taking that trip and saving that money, if it's buying that house, which I got this lady here that's going to probably help you do that, or if it's just saving up to go back to school. What's that one thing that you can commit to? What's that one piece of work ethic that you can focus your full attention on to be a better person? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got a guest for you today. And I said it's about how we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. Now, this lady is a powerhouse. And when I say powerhouse, I mean powerhouse, because there ain't nothing this woman can do. This woman can sing. This woman can do makeup. This woman is brilliant, bold, and smart. This woman has probably sold $50 million worth of properties that's out there, vetted, that's on the books. This woman is all over the place. And she has been someone throughout the years that I adore, appreciate more than anything else. She is none other than your real estate sidekick, Miss Arricka Price.
Hi.
I don't know why she's trying to be soft-spoken.
Hello.
I don't know why she's acting up. Why we gotta act up like this? What's up?
He knows I'm low-key.
That girl is not low-key. That girl is all over the place. She got footprints all over the place. I mean, we likely to find Bigfoot. Instead of her, we got a Bigfoot sighting here today, ladies and gentlemen.
Just tiptoes here and there. Just tiptoes.
Hey, for people that don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I currently am a serial entrepreneur. I think that's what they call us now.
Serial entrepreneur.
Which was not my intention. It was definitely not the journey that I thought I was going to have. But, you know, sometimes when life gives you lemons, you can make lemonade or you can grow an orchard. It's your choice, right?
I love that.
So, so currently I own Price Realty Group. And I also own the Luxuriant Studios, and I also own the Friendship Inn. That's a shirt I'm wearing. And I'm opening another business, which I will be launching very soon. I'm not going to give you too much information on it, but it will be named in namesake of my daughter. But outside of that, I'm going to take a break after that. I enjoy time with family. I am so family oriented. It's ridiculous. So that's my prime time fun is with those, that the Price clan is insane. So yeah. So, I mean, what else would you like to know, Mr. Dr. I like to make sure we whip the doctor in there. Make sure we give him his title and his due, okay?
I know. When I was coming up with this platform, I was bouncing it off a few people. And I called you and I talked to you about it. They said, you got to use the word doctor. You know, I'm just an average man with above average potential, striving for excellence in a world that don't want to see me succeed. So y'all said, you earned that doctor. You need to put that doctor on everything you do.
Indeed.
So it's there. It's there.
And
Dr.
it should
Duckett.
be. And it
yes,
should be.
it is there. So, but what I would like to talk to you about most importantly is the one thing that you stated, you know, how did you live? Like, you grew up in this area. Talk to me about your life.
So I grew up partially here, but also partially in El Paso. So I was born in El Paso, and I stayed there till I was almost 14, and then we moved here. And I was a military brat. So both of my parents were active duty Army soldiers, which was hilarious in the household because they always held the same rank at the same time. So the phone would ring, and it would be like, "Can I speak to Sergeant Price?" I'm like, "Male or female?" And they both made it up to Master Sergeants. Both made Sergeant Major lists and decided to sacrifice so that didn't have to leave the family again. So I'm very proud of where I come from. Then we moved here when I was 13, Central Texas. I graduated high school when I was 16. I was a national scholar. I'm a bit of a nerd, but I just love to learn. So I kind of did everything a little quickly. I started CTC when I was 15, which was really funny because I went to go speak to the early college high school a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this wasn't here. This opportunity did not exist when I was coming through, and I graduated in 2000. So I'm not, like dinosaur age, but I'm, but, I was telling them, I said, I had to kind of come in here. And when I was 14, I asked if I could start college, and they said, no, oh, you're too young, kind of got laughed out type thing. Come back when you're older. So I told my dad to drive me back up there when I turned 15 because I'm older. Yes. So I went back and I said, well, I'm older. And so now he's laughing again. The dean is like, look, go ahead and take the college entrance exam. If you can pass with no remedial courses, we'll go ahead and allow you to enroll. And I said, okay. And sky's the limit. I maxed it out darn near. So I was signed up and started school. My father said, I'm the only man that has to leave work, go pick her child up from high school, go drive her to college, come back. So it was hilarious. But yeah, so I actually did everything a little early. And then when I graduated, I decided to start everything early. I went to college in Georgia. I got married young. My major switched around from poli-sci with the emphasis in pre-law to business administration. Then I moved to a country where it doesn't matter what you went to school for because we don't speak the same language. I was in Germany with my husband. Wow. And that's when the entrepreneur bug, I think, officially launched because that's when I was like, I'm allergic to broke. Like, I get hives, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't have no Benadryl to treat this brokenness. And my husband was doing all he could, but he was an E3, so we didn't have any money. And so I was like, I'm going to open a salon. And so I actually befriended a native there, and they told me where to go in the city and how to apply and do everything the legal way. And so I opened an actual salon in Germany. Wow. And I was 21. So I did a lot very young. And now my son is here. Yeah. And so I have this little child that I really tell him all the time. We grew up together. But yeah, so my entrepreneur spirit was birthed, I think, then. And I already had my cosmetology license because when I was in college, I begged my father to let me get my license because, again, I didn't like being broke. In college, you're broke. Wow. And if I can do everybody's hair in the dorm, I know I could do it outside of the dorm and make some extra money. So I got my license. And so I was like, well, might as well, use it. And so I opened a salon. So my husband was deployed. And when he got back, I had moved us off the base onto a 4-story home, opened a salon. He didn't even know our address. He was like, babe, I'm back. Where do I go? And I said, oh, yeah, this is the new address. Come home, babe. Yeah. So now I'm turning 22 and dealing with, maturity, lack of maturity, divorce comes. And so I stayed another extra year because of the money. I made so much money there because we were such a commodity there. And I figured out quickly that, $5 make it 10 type situation. Yeah. So I came to the States and I purchased hair, and I would go to Germany and I would sell it for 4 times the price. So I had a business going. Wow. And so, so I was there, and then decided to finally come back to the U.S. and I was burnt out. I didn't want to touch a head. I didn't want to see a scalp. I was like, please just keep it all away from me, and I was like, I'm going to go into corporate America and I'm going to actually pursue what I was supposed to do. That lasted for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes because I still missed some of the pieces of the artistic side. Yes. And then the customer service side. People don't understand the servantship, right? Servantship is a gift to be able to give somebody else, right? And so I have the spirit of servantship. And so for me, I enjoy helping someone and having that moment where we're done and it's that instant gratification. They appreciate me and I appreciate them for allowing me to service them, right? Yes. So a lot of people miss that piece. And in corporate America, you don't get that appreciation. Even as a plastic surgeon, you don't like them till the swelling goes down, right? Yes. So with that being said, when I do your hair and your makeup, in that moment, honey, it don't matter if the electric bill's due. It don't matter what's going on. I'm fine. I am fine. So that is what I truly enjoyed. And so I did end up doing hair for a period of time, and then I left it for real this time. And I did corporate America for 10 years. So I was a project manager. I worked at Managed Healthcare. I worked for Superior Health Plan. And then I moved up here because they had a regional project manager position that was open, and I got picked up for it. And so it moved me back to Central Texas. And at the time, my mother was battling thyroid disease and Graves' disease. And so I was back and forth anyway, worrying about her. So this allowed me to be here. I can check on my mom, who all of a sudden got healthy when I lived here again. I don't know how that happened, but all of a sudden this change happened. And she's good now that I'm actually here, not having to burn the miles, right? And so I stayed in corporate America another 2 years. And then I had this pull that I couldn't take anymore. And I was like, I got to save my money because I have to step out. I can't do this anymore.
Yes.
Corporate America is fun. It's beautiful for what it is. But when you're an artist and you have things about yourself that you have to stifle in order to go to work, it almost makes you feel like you're draining yourself and you're miserable.
Yes.
And I was miserable. Like, it's just, I was making great money. My parents were so proud. My baby's doing this. My baby. And I was like, I don't care how much money you give me. I want to be done. And so I started saving my money. And when I say step out on faith, a lot of people say that phrase, but they don't do it. They don't understand. When you step out on faith, you really step out on faith. Yes. You have the faith of the mustard seed. I think I had my mustard seed cut in 4. Like, I literally was like, okay, I'm done with corporate America. I'm going to go ahead and open a suite to do makeup. And at the time, it was 2014. There was no other makeup artist in the area.
Yes.
And so I said, I'm going to do something nobody else is doing here. And I had my mom as a client, my best friend as a client, my sister as a client, and myself as a client, right? And no clients. And I opened a whole suite. And I said, what in the world am I doing? Like, and my dad said the same. My dad always tells me, Treese, my middle name is Latrice. Treese, don't do that. Now, Treese, now look, now you had a good thing going. Now you don't do that. And I was like, Dad, yeah, that's a hobby. Until it can make you money, it's an expensive hobby. Like, my dad does not play about risk, even though he was an entrepreneur. He actually was an entrepreneur. He owned A&A Mini Blind Company, and he opened that in 1996 out here. So as a kid, I was watching my dad be an entrepreneur, but my dad did a business that had the lowest amount of calculator, like no overhead. He had to buy a drill. He had to buy a tape measure. He had to buy, he had open vendor accounts. Yeah. He had a garage. Like, that was it. And it was our garage. It wasn't like he had to go and rent anything else. He was not taking a chance. Whereas I kind of adapted the it takes money to make money mentality. Yeah. So I stepped out in that world. And so, I became Madame Wah at that time. Right? Madam makeup artist. And it was phenomenal. It was fun. And I was enjoying it. But then this control button hit. And I was making people pretty in the face, but these hairstylists were tearing up their hair. So I'm like, I didn't like that. No, I got to do it all now. So I stepped right back into where I said I would never go. And so I ended up doing hair and makeup again. And I ended up converting my pool house into my salon.
Wow.
Which was a huge endeavor. And I needed it because my son needs his mama. And so I was watching him. Yeah. And that was the birth of Madame Wah. And it was cool. It was great. I did some celebrities. I did Snoop Dogg. I did Tasha Cobb. I've flown all over the U.S. to do different clients. I had a great time doing that. And then the acting bug came out again, because people found out that I used to act when I was a kid. And it was like, why don't we try that again? So I said, why not? Can I get paid doing it? Monetize that.
She does everything. Let me tell you something. Hold on one second. I got to go to commercial, because now she's getting ready to tell us about this acting thing. And like, all right, now I'm living and I'm learning now. She didn't already transition into the learning. We'll be right back in just 6 minutes.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with The Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service, so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach @gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. All right, we're back with the lively art of conversation, and Mrs. Price has blown my mind. Now, I thought I knew her, but she keeps telling me stuff that I don't know. I swear, I done my homework. I looked her up. I've talked to her, and now she's telling me that she's done makeup for celebrities and she's acting and everything else. So this is absolutely amazing. Please continue on.
I think the phrase, I said I don't do potty mouth, but I do a little potty mouth. Because I do have a phrase called MTS, monetize that. Like, that's how I feel. Like, if you can do it, if it's anything that's marketable, charge for it. Because no one else has a problem charging you for it. Whether they're going to come and sing for you, whether they're going to come and speak at an event for you, they have no problem saying it's going to cost this fee. So if you have a talent, don't allow someone to freely pull from your well, you know? And so that's something that for me, I always feel like that's what you should do. So they said, yeah, we can act. I said, okay, does it pay? Because that's what I need to know. It's monetization for me, right? It's my time, which is not free. So I was getting paid, and we started doing stage plays, and I was traveling the country. And by this point, my son is becoming early teen. So my parents were like, have fun. We got him. You know, great support system. My family is the best. And so I'm doing that. I'm still have my salon, and I'm just kind of living my best life, if that makes any sense. Yes. And along that journey, I made some decisions that caused me to be impregnated with a child.
Decisions has consequences.
It does.
But this baby's beautiful.
And she is. And she's the catalyst to who I am today. Yeah. Because by this point, what people have to understand is comfort is danger when you're trying to establish something you want to be more. If you get comfortable, you're not going to push yourself.
Yes.
I was making 6 figures with my salon and everything else I was doing. So for me, I was comfortable. I had my son and myself. We're good. I don't need anything else. But then this little protrusion started in my belly, and it just kept growing and growing. And I was like, oh my God, I got to figure this out. Then I'm thinking, I can afford another kid. Again, I make 6 figures. I'm not broke, so I'm good. And then she comes out with needing everything. I need to go to speech therapy because she has texture aversion. I need to go to physical therapy, occupational therapy. So my child was in every therapy you could think of. And guess what? It isn't free. Lo and behold, it costs some money. So I needed some extra money. And her therapy was about $3,400 a month. And that was out of pocket. So that wasn't the piece that was covered by insurance. It was the other piece I was paying. So 5 times a week, we're at a therapist with this little mini person who's costing me more than anything else in the world, right? Yeah. But it was like, what am I going to do? Because I wasn't planning on that type of expense to add to a child, you know, according to my lifestyle and things of that nature. So I said, well, I've been wanting to go to real estate school. So let me go ahead and get my real estate license, because then I can get a little side money. Side money's good. I always feel like if you can throw a little couple extra dollars somewhere in there, all I needed was $3,000 extra a month is how I looked at it. So I said, yeah. I went to the school and I sat in the class, and she said, in your area, on average, you know, people are going to make about, you'll sell a house, sell about 6 houses a year. It's going to average you about $3,000 basically dollars a month, about $36,000 a year. I said, what? Say it with your chest. 36. My math did quick. I said, yes, I'm going to sit right here in this class and get this 36K.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
and
ma'am.
I was excited because it wasn't discouraging to me, because I never thought it would be a full-time thing. So for me, it was always a side thing. So I was like, perfect. That's great. So I finished and I got my license, and then COVID hit. And I was like,
yeah.
Wait, what? I can't do hair no more? Wait, I can't touch a face? You mean a $10,000 fine in American dollars? I can't afford that. So, and everybody was snitching. Oh, baby, they were snitching all over Central Texas. If you had a fresh twist, they were like, who did it? Who did that twist? You had a straightening, you did braids. They were snitching. So I was afraid to even trample, you know, on that path, because I was so afraid that money would be taken that I didn't have to give, you know. And in the midst of all of this, I said, I guess it's time for me to use this real estate license. I didn't have a client in sight. So we're going to say one more time. I stepped out on what? Faith. Because I didn't have a client. So I started going to model homes, and I started doing videos in model homes because I love homes and I love architecture. My dad gave me that when I was a kid. Remember, I'm watching him do blinds, and all these builders are now, I'm a grown up now. They're the same builders, but now I'm grown. And I'm looking at the houses that are finished, and I have a different perspective. So I'm walking through and I'm like, ew, y'all, look at these ceilings, look at these floors. And people started sharing my videos. And the videos started going and going and going. And then before you knew it, I hit my first year of real estate and I had closed $14.5 million.
Let's unpack. Let's take a moment to unpack. So a lot's been said. She has smoothly transitioned from live, learn to earn.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just sitting here like, I just need a cup of cappuccino right now. So let's unpack. So grew up in El Paso, came here to this area, graduated early, and went to early college on top of graduation, got married, went to Germany. The entrepreneur bug actually hit you, made crazy money while you were there, came back to the States, used your degree, got tired, went back into the makeup and hair industry, began to build a studio because you had a son, because you wanted to be closer to him.
Yes.
You know, had a daughter. And now, don't forget the acting. Like, literally, don't forget the acting and the makeup that you was doing out there. And now you are the owner of selling nearly $15 million of property as your real estate sidekick. Not to say Friendship Inn is what you actually own. My goodness. And all of this, pretty much, I would say at least 80% of it, 85% of it being a single mom.
Yeah. I got a divorce when my son was 6, but we didn't live together. I had left him when my son was 3. So yeah, I've been a single mom for a long time. My son's 20 now.
So this leads me to the life lessons of all of this. I guarantee you, I have single moms right now listening to everything that's happening. What is your advice to single moms that are just stuck and are looking to get unstuck? Because it seemed like you've never been stuck. So how do you get them unstuck?
There's no such thing as being stuck.
Oh,
I feel like
explain.
when you have children, your motivation is inbred. You have that inside of you. So I don't do well with excuses. And honestly, that's probably why I'm single. I don't do well with excuses. So it's kind of like you either do or you don't. And for me, I don't, because I know what I've done and what I've been able to do. And I've seen so many people with talents that they just don't tap into. And I don't understand that. I'm like, I just had a conversation with someone, and she's married, but I had a conversation with her, and she's trying to figure out her journey. Should she leave real estate permanently? Should she do this, do that? And I'm like, girl, but you got so many other things you know how to do. I watch you on social media. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Why don't you tap into that? You can't let fear stop you and drive you into mediocrity.
Don't let fear stop you.
Fear will lead you in a life of mediocrity. You will be sitting there at this medium level when you're meant to be in premium. You're supposed to be driving this vehicle, but you're settling for that 2006 that you can barely get started in your driveway.
Wow.
It's a choice that you're making. I refuse to sit here and say you don't have talent, because I can pick people apart, and I know I can sit in a room with almost any individual and say, you have a talent to do this, this, and this. So if that's the case, why don't you monetize that? Why are you allowing fear to dictate your moves? You can't. It just doesn't work that way.
So tell us, single moms or dads or family members that's out there, families that's out there listening, like, how is this all balanced? And how do you navigate your challenges? How do you navigate the workflow? And then also, how do you deal with the fluctuating market on top of raising your child that is very demanding? I met her, and she's a beautiful young lady, but she requires your attention right here, right now.
Mm-hmm. She's her mother. And it is definitely, my daughter, I look at her and I laugh more than anything because she's so much of me. But I say this. First of all, you have to be humble. And a lot of people lose humility along their journey. I have met other realtors that I will sit in a room. I'll give you, and I'm not going to put no names out. I could sit in a room with a male and female, I can name off the top of my head, where the male, he's so arrogant and so bravada and so of this and that. I was thinking this man has to be making at least, you have to be closing at least $15 million a year, because the way you sitting up here, your chest is poked out, baby. You got to be killing them charts, And lo and behold, I find out he doesn't even make half of what I make.
Oh, wow.
But your attitude is just so, like, you lose yourself along the way. And I just refuse to do that. I will never be that realtor that you catch in suits. If you catch me in a suit or anything stuffy, it's because it's closing day. And that's because I'm trying to be nice. I like my clients to understand I'm relatable. I am who I am. I'm in flowy maxi dresses. I'm in my jeans and t-shirts that have real estate stuff on them. And I am me 24/7, unapologetically. I can't focus on what you need if I'm so busy trying to be something I'm not. That's too much. I don't have that much energy to spill over. So for me, as a single parent, ask for help. Just recently, I saw someone begging for money on Facebook, and I say begging because of the way that this person has moved for a hotel room overnight. So I need cash for this. And I'm thinking to myself, you are smart enough, and you have a car, you can go and do deliveries, Instacart, you can do Lyft, you could do Uber. That makes good money. It really does. Let's start there. You can do that. You got a car with 4 wheels, so you can do that. You have the ability to speak. You speak well. You're an orator. You can go and actually charge people to sit in a room with you and give advice on certain things that you've already experienced. Some people need to know how to get over that hump. Even if you fell short, they need to know how not to follow that path. There's all types of ways that you can monetize what you do. But you're sitting here like, Facebook check is coming next week. I just need a couple dollars. You're waiting on your Facebook check? That's what you're waiting on? Is social media a way to make money? Absolutely.
Yes,
I do not monetize. That is one of the best inventions created by man for everything except relationships. Okay. It is the best for everything except that. But what I'm saying is you have to be humble enough to ask for help. I have had to ask for help. True story. I was in a custody battle with my daughter, and I had spent all my savings. And my savings at that point, I had like 20-some thousand saved, and I thought I had some money saved, right? I could take off for about 4 weeks and have my baby and come back comfortably transition, and I'm not going to be broke because I live in Central Texas. $24,000 goes a long way here. So I thought I was okay. Well, a lawyer does not take $24,000 a long way. It only goes a couple minutes. And so after that, I was out of money. And I remember calling my parents, and I was like, can you keep my son? I needed them to keep my son Monday through Friday. I couldn't feed him and me and my daughter. It wasn't going to work during that time. So people that don't understand, I had a pulmonary embolisms after I had my daughter, so I couldn't work. So when you have blood clots in your lungs, you can't walk long distances. I couldn't breathe long distances, so I couldn't do a client. It took me probably 5 hours to do a silk press, which should have taken maybe an hour and a half because I couldn't breathe. So I had to start taking breaks. So I always tell people there's no testimony without a test. Baby, yes. I've had my test. Yes. And so it hasn't always been glitter and gold, but I had to humble myself. You know how hard it is to ask somebody to keep your child because you can't feed your child? It's embarrassing. It's hard, but I had no choice because at that time I was fighting for my daughter and I needed her to be safe. And I was fighting for her to be able to stay with her mother so I could keep her safe. That is a price. There's a price to pay for every decision we make. So having her, Scott and White, Lord forgive me, y'all did a piss poor job with that one. Cut me a little bit too far. Ended up having surgery complications after my C-section, which forced me into having pulmonary embolisms. So when you have that to push you into no money, hardly, because you could hardly make any money. And then I said, I want to go to real estate school. So I had to save and ramen noodles and making sure she needed, but I'm ramen noodling it. My son is at my parents'. I'm only keeping him on Friday and Saturday, so I'm coming up with cost-effective meals for those 2 days so that I can afford to feed him. And then I finally had the money for real estate school. It was $1,500. And I remember it was Mother's Day weekend, and my dad had said, hey, we're going to take y'all to Dallas for Mother's Day. And I'm like, Dad, he was like, no, it's not going to be no money. I just want to take you. You're a mom. I need you to, you're still a mom, baby. So we went to Dallas, and I remember I called my best male friend at the time, and I said, Jonathan, I was like, I finally did it. He said, what did you do? And I said, I saved it. I got $1,500. I said, I'm enrolling tomorrow. Wow. And I was so excited to enroll in real estate school. And he said, well, I am so proud of you, friend. And you did so good. He said, I'm going to send you a little something for Mother's Day. And I love you. Enjoy your day. So I checked my Cash App. He sent me $1,500. So he called me back and he said, I want you to save that and use that while you're going back and forth for gas money, whatever you have to do, use that money for that and take this money for school. So he passed away almost 2 years ago, but everything I've done up until this point, I have nothing but to attribute to him in that sense because he believed in me when nobody else did. And I don't want to get emotional on this, but he's passed away. And so I just told him in that time, just forever thank you, because you have to be humble. You can't be above your craft. You can't be above other people enough to say your cloud can easily be pulled underneath you. Yeah. I went from making 6 figures and I lived in Germany where I was making, way too much to be 20 years old, making at least $250,000 a year, buying luxury vehicles cash. Like I went from that to having nothing because of how life transitioned, because of decisions I made, having my daughter, not knowing it was going to put me in the hospital and not being able to feed my son, So you have to be humble. But again, you don't make excuses. I was showing houses pulling an oxygen tank. I refuse to believe there's excuses. I will not allow that. It might have been the cutest sight, and I couldn't go upstairs. So I used to be like, hey, y'all go up there and tell me what you think, But I got out that car, I pulled that tank, and I was right there in that house. Like, I'll show you the whole first floor, my candle in my nose. And, I said, I can't go up the stairs, but y'all just, and I mean, when I think about all of that, even my clients that trusted me in that time, it's nothing but God, but you can't think that there's no room to give up because you got people rely on you.
You know what? I was so right when I made the quote of the week, work ethic.
Yes.
Because if there's ever a work ethic picture, it is this beautiful face that's on it. I mean, like literally, she is the queen mother of the work ethic. So we're going to come right back with Miss Arricka Price, but we got to step away for these commercials. If you're interested in commercials, I'm doing that MTS thing that you said. Mm-hmm. I'm doing that MTS thing.
Monetize that. Okay.
I'm doing that right now. So if you guys are interested in being an underwriter for the show, or if you guys would like to have an ad on the show and you got an upcoming event, or if you're a nonprofit, get at me because I got special things for nonprofit. Hit me up at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. See you after the commercial. All right, we're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, and I'm telling you, this show has been outstanding. She has made my job easy. Like, I don't have to pull nothing out of her. It is there. For you guys are just catching up with the show, definitely you can find this show on YouTube. So you can find us on YouTube. Also, it'll be aired on Facebook and also LinkedIn. You'll be able to see it as well, too. We're on the social media platforms. My guest is the Real Estate Sidekick, Miss Arricka Price, and she is an outstanding woman. We left off with work ethic. Work ethic. and she by far, that face and work ethic is synonymous, and it goes exactly with her. I want to speak to you real quick about any knowledge that you would like to pass along. And you've been doing nothing but passing along knowledge, but anything you want to give the audience that they need to know. Because one of the biggest things that I run into on social media or out in public or at events or when I'm doing life coaching is this right here. Man, oh, woe is me. I can't get it going. I can't get it started. I need someone to point me in the right direction. I need. What is your advice to that person that's just looking for someone to hold their coattails to take them to the promised land?
What? Like, what world do we live in when you do that? Like, absolutely. No, this is what I would say. If you feel like you have this pool or something that you might be interested in, be humble. This is why I go back to, again, look for people already doing what you want to do, okay? If it's not broke, why are you trying to fix it? Find someone that's already doing what you're trying to do, and eventually someone will give you some information. Now, you're always going to have people that are gatekeepers. You're never going to ask, in any field, you're always going to run into a gatekeeper. And I'm okay with that, because and to an extent, I feel like you still have to be careful with information you give. I am not a gatekeeper, but everybody's not welcome in my yard. Okay. Ooh, so with that being said, it's like when we're having these conversations, be willing to go and humble yourself and say, hey, look, I want to get started. Even if somebody out of state, that is always a good thing. Go out of state. So somebody's trying to doing something out of state, so you're not affecting their business at all. Hey, is there a way that I could potentially get into what you're doing? Do you mind, can I give you $100, $50 or so for a class so that you can tell me? It's not free, and don't expect it to come free. So if you get free, you just thank God for that and you soak it up like a sponge. But if it's not free, be willing to pay for it, because it's something that you're investing in for your own future. But the thing is, you have to seek out resources. I would love to say that I've created everything in my mind and I just have this amazing mind, and I have seen things done, and I was like, even my studios, I love my studios. They're gorgeous, but I'm going to tell you about my studios. I saw other people opening salon suites all over the place, and I was like, yeah, that's cute, but I want to do it my way. You know what I mean? And so I knew that my way was going to require a little bit more than some paint, a little bit more than a couple light bulbs. It was going to require a little bit more to it. And I also knew that I am not handy enough to pretend that I'm going to do a DIY, because DIY, I don't care what you do, it looks like DIY. I don't care who you are.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
I put it out there. That is so true.
I've been to your spot, and girl, you've been in high heels and pumps, walking around
on the chandelier.
Yeah, on the chandelier. I'm like, what are you doing?
And I was hanging the crystals, but that's different. I'm very humble. I have a problem. Actually, my knee is recovering now because of this. I have a problem watching people do something that I can do and not at least helping. Yeah. Like if I hire you to do something, say, because we like at this point they were scraping the paint off of the floors. My floors are marble and porcelain, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But they were scraping the paint, and I was like, well, I can help with that, So I got down on my knees and I just fell off the pad a little bit. So that's my knees hurt. It's still injured. But I was like, I can scrape too. So I was scraping the floors with them. And the reason, I'm not above anything. It's just not my ministry. I'm not a builder. I'm not a carpenter. I pay you for what you do, and you're not going to lose any money because I'm helping you. But in my spirit, I can help you do some things. So the guys that do my chandeliers or my fandeliers, when they put them up, I put my own crystals up. And even though that's just a little bit addition, but I don't want them to have to feel like they have to do every single part. So I do that piece to contribute to helping them. But DIY is totally different than assisting with professionals doing that. I'm talking about I can see the corners of a room and I'm like, okay, you went on to HTTP,
I'm sorry,
YouTube
that vision
University.
Was yours. That vision was yours because from when you first told me that concept until the day that I went in there and I actually seen it, like come by and see it, and it was like literally months, and I walked in and I was like, oh my God. Like that you are a visionary. I mean, literally that vision became a reality, which was amazing. So I would love to give you just hats off on that. I also been dying to ask you, and this is the one thing that I don't know, and I just love it because it has a little jingle to it. Your real estate sidekick. Where'd you come up with that? Like, how did that come about? Because
I'm your sidekick. I'm your buddy. Like my clients, I I'm so hands-on. So I don't pass my clients off to anyone. For every part, it's me. So if there's a lender to be found, I'm helping you seek out that lender. Once you get approved, I'm helping you even with decisions as far as what the long-term goals look like. Sometimes my clients want to buy a house, but I'm already talking to you about what your next house is going to look like because I've already seen your 2 children and I have a feeling you want to create legacy for them. So how can I help you create legacy for them? So I'm literally your buddy all the way along the way. It's not just like we close and then I'm out. It's like my close and my phone number never changes. And you can always call me. And I tell my clients, don't do anything to this house. Any major change in this house without calling me. Solar panels, call me. You want to add a pool? Call me. Do not make these decisions that could be detrimental to your future goals in the moment. Because the salesmen, they're good. Oh my God. They come to that door and they smell good. And they walk up there and they say, hey, how much do you pay for your electricity bill? And they're like, oh, I pay $200 a month. Well, how about I get you some solar panels? And instead of you paying $200 to that, you're going to pay $200 to this. But guess what? Eventually, you're not going to have an electric bill. And my clients are like, oh my God, I'm not going to have an electric bill. This is so exciting. Oh my God. And then I'm like, no, don't do it. Because what they don't tell you is that those solar panels are stuck with that house. And so if you want to take them down, they don't tell you that it costs $5,000 to remove and another $10,000 to $12,000 to reinstall at the next house. But if that next house roof doesn't have enough south facing on that roof for the panels, you can't even use all your panels that you purchased. So they don't tell you that. They also don't tell you that if you're trying to sell that house, that $50,000 that you just paid for those panels has to be paid off at closing, or your next buyer has to be able to assume the house loan and the loan for those panels. So you see gorgeous houses out here that we can't sell because one person can only qualify for the house, but they can qualify for the panels. So yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I have to ask you this as we get ready to wrap up, because there's been some parents, single mothers, families that are looking to buy their first home.
Yes.
And they would love to get your advice. Right now they're saving. What is their next step? What are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to get started? They're looking at houses, but they may or may not have enough money. Just walk us through the process.
So first of all, saving may not even be what you need to do. And that's the thing about knowing who to work with. Sometimes the plan is just make the call first. And I say that because every situation is different. I have sold houses to a mother and daughter side by side, to 2 sisters side by side, and they're both totally different journeys because income does play a part. But for example, a VA loan, a lot of people don't understand and know that you don't need a minimum. There's no minimum credit score for a VA loan. No minimum credit score for a VA loan. So when you're in there and the bank says, oh no, you got to have a 620, that bank is lying to you. That bank has put an overlay at that bank and said that you have to have a 620. That doesn't mean that's overall. But a lot of people get discouraged when they hear that no. When I used to do buyer's classes, people would be, I had one girl, she actually was in tears, and I felt so torn about emotion because I'm like, I want to cry with you, but I feel bad that you even went through this because she had been denied so many times and told no because of their credit score. But the reality of it is my lender on the spot approved her. So she was in a house 30 days later, she had her own house. So sometimes it's just a conversation. I need to know your story. The advice I would give you is before you're focusing on saving, focus on paying everything on time. That's the biggest thing people are going to be looking at. And even if you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, because we've all been there, then you let this bill go a little late. The electric bill, let that be a little late. But don't let your car note be late. Let your water be late. Don't let anything that's reporting to your credit, pay that on time. Anything else, nobody's going to know but you and Jesus said it's late. Call them, make a payment plan for your electricity. Call them, make a payment plan for your water or internet or something of that nature. But make sure the things that report to your credit are paid on time. The other thing people need to do, report your rent to your credit. A lot of people are not doing that, and they don't understand this law passed almost 3 years ago now that you can report your rent to all 3 credit bureaus. So what you're telling a lender is, I can afford to pay $1,000 in rent every single month. So I clearly can afford this mortgage.
So how would they do that? Tell them how would they report their rent to the creditors?
Okay, so there's different websites. One of them is rentreporting.com. And then there's other ones that I'm not in, they're not in my face right now. Okay. But if you call me, I do have other links available that I can send to you that you can go on and you register. And all I will tell you to do is be honest be honest as you can be without being detrimental to your goals. And I say that to say this. If you paid a late rent a year ago, do not take it back to a year. Take it back 11 months. Okay, don't be silly and put yourself in a bind. You know what I mean? But if you know you had a late bill, just don't include that month. Okay, just go from that point forward and just keep paying your rent on time, because you want to keep adding different things to help your credit to become more substantial. Even though the score is not going to matter with the VA, your payments on time matter across the board. It doesn't matter which loan program you're in.
Yes.
But right now, for first-time home buyers, they have so many programs available to where it's no money out of pocket. You just got to call, and so we can talk you through the process and get you going. But yeah.
You hear that? I mean, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure this is about $10,000-$15,000 worth of advice right here on Lively Art of Conversation, my good friend, my real estate sidekick. I will say this. I just love this woman. She's awesome. I mean, she's really awesome in the things that she has done in the community, the people that she has worked with. I've met with her and I've talked with her about a ton of different things. Sometimes I always say you got to find someone smarter than you and then share a conversation. She's one of those smart people that I share conversations with all the time. As we begin to wrap up and close, if you can just real quickly give me the Arricka Price philosophy on life. Just give me your philosophy on life, and we'll close with that.
Mine is what glass ceiling. I just always feel like we allow people to put a cap on what we are able to do. There is no glass ceiling. What glass ceiling?
What glass ceiling?
So that's how I look at it, and I just keep going. So, like I said, you can always choose to make lemonade out of those lemons, or you can grow your orchard. It's your choice.
Ooh. You know that's going to be a social media post. I got to beat her before she posts her own words. So that is awesome right there. So this is a lively art of conversation. As I say, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. And by far, we have got the portrait of work ethic right here. So if you don't know your real estate sidekick, Miss Arricka Price, I highly, can you drop your handle so that way everybody know how to get you?
Yes, you can reach me on Instagram at Your Real Estate Sidekick. You can reach me. Well, wait, hold on. I've changed it. I'm sorry, guys. Instagram is simply Arricka. I've changed it. I'm really humble. So I like to keep things very low. So it's simply Arricka, which is me in real life. Facebook, Your Real Estate Sidekick. You can find me there. And then my phone number is so easy. It's 254-312-1100. So you can it's super easy. So you can always call me anytime. And I always am available. My clients are all over the world. So my phone rings at midnight. It rings at 2 a.m. Just reach out. And I just want to help. So sometimes we can't even work together immediately. But if I have a chance to get you on your path, that feeds my soul.
Awesome. This has been a wonderful show today. I've learned so much. I thank you. I thank you because of what you do. I thank you for the people you help. And I also, most importantly, thank you for just being a pillar in our community. And we need more people like you in our community because I won't say, because you'll probably kick me, but there's so many people that you've helped that people don't even know. And sometimes we try to be as humble as we can. And I know firsthand of the people that you have helped, and you're really a great woman. It's kind of similar to the conversation I had with Miss Lavina Sabri. Sometimes we don't understand people because they're so dedicated and motivated and they move a certain way. And we just automatically think that, they're bougie or they're mean or they're conceited or whatever the case may be. But that is not the case. This is a determined woman with dedication. She's got a work ethic like nobody else.
Oh, but I got one correction to make.
Yes.
I've sold $68 million in real estate as of today.
Boast, baby, boast. $68 million in real estate. Did she not say $68 million? $68 million in real estate. So you go ahead and boast. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming out here and sharing this time and space with us. It means a lot to me. Once again, this is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn, and you pass it along. If you're interested in any type of commercials that we have, please hit me up with livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. Also, if you want to be an underwriter, we're still open. We have 2 slots for underwriters. Please connect with me as soon as possible, and I will be glad to quote you our underwrite package. If you're a nonprofit and you have an event that's coming up, reach out to me. This event needs to be sometime in August because we're already booked up all the way until August. But if you have an ad or anything that you want to put out, we'll try to squeeze that in as much as we can. Next week, our show is going to be very powerful. Just like the Real Estate Sidekick, I have an attorney at law, Miss Iannelli. She's going to come here. She's going to talk about what it is to be a mother, what it is to be a motivational speaker, what it is to be a book author, and what it is to be a change agent. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in to the Lively Art of Conversation. I am your host, Dr. Rodney Duckin. And remember, we live, we earn, we learn by God, and we pass it along.